and welcome to my channel. Today I have for you this little card, which is a 4-stair step card. As you can see, although it will fold flat like that, when you open it, it does give the appearance of stairs, which you can decorate any way you like. Now, for a little bit of extra stability, because I would like to be sure that this would stand on a mantelpiece or a shelving unit, I've added these little supports on the back. But of course, you don't have to do that if you don't choose. Now, if you would like to learn how to make this 4-step or stair card, stick with me and I'll show you how. Start with a piece of card that is cut to 9 by 6 inches, and this is going to make a 6 by 6 card. And then what I'm going to do is use my grid here to mark out the squares on this card for the guide on where I need to fold and score. This whole card is based on a grid series, so what I want to do is start at the 1.5 inch mark and place just a little line here. It doesn't have to be very dark because we're going to put it back in our scoreboard after we get this all drawn out. And of course, I'll just rub out the pencil marks. So 1.5 and 3 inches. And 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And then next will be 6. 6 and 7.5. So that's this mark here, and that's all the marking on the long side. Now turn it to the short side, the 6 inch side, and do the same again on this side. Do a 1.5 inch grid. So 1.5 to begin with. There we are. 1.5. 3. And 4.5. Right, so you'll have something that looks like this. Now, in the scoreboard, and what you want to do is starting on the long side, make your first score mark, and that is at the 1.5 inch mark, and only down to that first horizontal line, which is at the 1.5 inch mark. So 1.5 inches, and stop, and go to the 3 inch and go down and stop at the 3 inch mark. Then on the 4.5, we're not going to score this. We're actually just going to leave that one unscored and the bottom one unscored. You're just going to score these 2 squares in the center. So find the track and then just sort of hover over it. Don't actually go down into the cardstock, and then start to press in and stop when you get to the 4.5 inch mark. On the 6th, you're going to do something similar. You're going to go past the first, going to go past the second, and you're going to start here at the 3-inch mark, and you're going to go on down to the bottom of the card. And then the last one on the 7.5-inch mark, come all the way down to that 4.5-inch mark and score this final square here. And we'll see that a little better when we get to the cutting. So that's the scoring on that side. On the other side, you can start at either end, but I'm going to start here at this end. And where I want to score is between the 1.5-inch and the 4.5. So we're going to just hover past that first square, go into the second and the third, and stop. So that's between the 1.5 horizontal mark and the 4.5 horizontal mark. On this one, which is the 3-inch, to start at the 3-inch horizontal mark and go 1, 2, and stop at the 6-inch mark. So you see you're doing 2 here, you've got these 2, and so when you come to the final one, which is here at this first 1.5-inch mark, you're going to come to the 4.5-inch mark. Alright, and you're going to score these 2 between the 4.5 and the 7.5. So 4.5. Oops, went off track there. 7.5. And anytime you do that, if you want to take that little mark out, all you have to do is turn it over and then put it in the grooves and just essentially rub it out. So there we have that, and that's the scoring that we need to do. We'll fold on those lines, but only after we've done our cutting. So for this, I need to get my craft knife. And I've got my ruler with, it has a steel edge on it here. And for this, what we're going to do, and I'll just mark it on here for you. This is that first 1.5-inch block here. I'm going to make a slit from here to here. So that means you're going from the, put it on here, we might see it better, from the 1.5-inch right down to the 4.5-inch. So you're going to cut from here to here, and then you're going to cut from the 3-inch out to the 6-inch, and then the final one will be from 4.5 to the 7.5. So again, we've got 2 squares that we're actually slicing through on each of those sections. So put my ruler down here and just go between those 2 points. So from the 1.5 right down to the 4.5. So give it a bit of pressure. You don't have to cut it all in one go. You can make 2 or 3 cuts if you need to. And you see there is our first slit. Going to do the same here. So remember, we're cutting only from this point, which is the 3-inch mark, and we're going over to the 6-inch. And the last one, we're going to start at the 4.5 inch and go to the 7.5. Last one. Now, to fold and furnish this, just give it a bit of a fold back like that to begin with. This is going to be a mountain fold, so it's going to fold into a peak here. This is going to be a valley fold. It is going to fold back. And what will happen is, as you start to just sort of push it, it will want to actually form that same action on all the other pieces. So you have that mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, valley, and then again mountain and valley. So now, as you see, you've got this stair, step thing folding like that. So you've got that. Then what you can do is now you can go in with your bone folder and give it a good press so that these score lines are all nice and sharp now. And there you have your zipper. Now we're ready to decorate. I'm going to just take the rubber and rub these lines out. That's all tidied up now. And if you're going to decorate the steps or the stairs with perhaps a stamp, you could do that now while it's flat, and it's just a lot easier to actually come in here with your stamps and do that. But I'm not going to be doing that, so I'm just going to move on to the next. Now, for the covering for both the front and the back, I've got this template which I've already formed. And how this is done is starting with a 5 3/4 inch square piece of paper or card, whatever you want to use for your template. And you start on one side, doesn't matter which since it's square, and measure out 1 1/4 inches and draw your line there. Then come over to 2 3/4 and 4 1/4. And what you'll see is that these 3 columns here are all the same size. They're 1 1/2. If I put that on there, you can see that that's 1 1/2 inches. Okay, but the first one is 1 1/4 inches. So after you've drawn in your squares, just turn it like so and do the same again. So start with 1 1/4, 2 3/4, and 4 1/4. And again, these 3 columns will all be the same size, and the smaller rectangle will be the outer edge. Then what you're going to do is remove these 6 squares. So you've got 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to cut that out, and then we'll use this as our template to make our mat or layer. So we're just going to cut this out, and just makes it so much easier just to be able to just place this on top of your paper that you're going to be covering your card with. You could, if you wanted to, just cover it in strips of card if you don't want to cover the whole thing, or just, you know, stamp, whatever you like. But if you want to cover it like I'm going to, this will make it a lot easier. So now we have our templates, okay? And then I can just use that over and over again. So now what I'm going to do is take my template and place it on my paper and draw around it. And it's not easy if I just put this on the back side so that the pencil marks are here, and simply draw around like so. Then what I can do is place it back here again on my paper and bring it in a little closer to the other piece, and just give myself room for my pencil marks. And I can cut out the other piece so that I've got pieces cut for the front layer and the back. Now I'll just cut those out. I have the pieces which are going to cover the front and the back. And then I can cover these little squares as well. And remember, these are 1.5, 1.5 by 1.5. So what I'll do is I'll cut my squares to 1 1/4. There are the 4 pieces which are going to cover the stairs. So I'm just going to put these into place like so, using my liquid glue. To be a wedding card, so I've got these pieces here, and I'm just going to take this scrap that I have here and round the corners on it. Then I'm going to place it here on the front with these little bits that I've fussy cut as well. I'm just going to glue those down and put that on the front. So I'm going to put the hearts first and then the little wedding car. Give it a little bit of height, these foam squares. There. Just going to angle it there, put it where I want it first, and I'll press it into place. And this piece here is another fussy cut. I'm going to put that so that it just extends beyond that. So I'd only put the glue right here on this bottom bit. The little wedding cake will be there. And then I have this topper here, which I'm going to place here. And again, I'm going to place that down with some foam squares. Because the depth of the card is already there, so this isn't going to. Now you may find that the card will stand or it might fall down on occasion. So if you want to avoid that, and if you're just not bothered, you don't need to do this. But what you can do is make a little sort of easel for it. And for that, what I've done is I've just taken a piece of scrap, which is about 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. I'm going to score along 1 inch increments. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to fold and burnish these score lines, and it will make a little rectangular box here. Go together like so. Right? What I'm going to do, just to speed things up just a bit and not have to wait for the glue to dry, I'm going to use some double-sided tape here. Find thing. And you have your rectangular box, which now I'm going to put onto the back of my card. So I'm going to put it on this side here, and I'm just going to make sure. Do I take a little bit off there, that it aligns to the bottom, and then I'll put my adhesive here. And again, I'm going to use my double-sided tape. Like I said, I'm going to be sure that this is flush with the bottom here, and that it's not getting caught on there as well. Just going to like that, and then that will still fold up flat, but it will give it some stability. Okay, and we'll put one on this end as well. For this side, to balance it out, I've got another piece, another scrap, 4.5 inches long, and in this case it's 1 1/4. You could have 1 inch if you like, but it's 1 1/4. So, but I'm still going to score it at 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 and 4. And fold and burnish again. So I've done the same thing as I did on the other side. And now I'm going to give that a little bit of a thing back and forth, and it will stand erect. See, when you fold it up, just simply push in here and it will fold along with the rest of the card. Doesn't look that pretty on the back, but it does the job. Add some pearls to this as well, along with a little bit of ribbon which I've pulled from my scrap box, and make a little bow here for this. So just a simple bow using my bow maker. You can just hand tie this, of course. And there we are. And that is going to go somewhere along there, and then we have these. See, I think I might put that one there, and then put these smaller ones here. I hope that wasn't too confusing for you to follow, but I am going to leave a link to Sam Colcott from Mixed Up Craft for her tutorial on this same card, which is where I got my instructions for, except that she did not have these little bits on the back. That's optional, of course. Thank you so much for joining me today for this tutorial on the 4 stair step card, and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I am trying to get to the 500 subscriber mark for my giveaway, and hopefully by the time this goes out I'll have reached that goal. If not, please do subscribe today, and when you see the video go up for the giveaway, you'll be eligible to enter. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please leave me a thumbs up and a comment below. That would be lovely. In the meantime, as always, stay safe and crafty hugs. Bye.